Welcome, welcome to the lovely IHP community and the 5D collective. We just finished, I did, uploading a couple more shorts for you. So, in case you didn't catch them, we're going to talk about one of them in particular, and that will lead us then to continue our conversation on that which is you being able to be yourself. Self-discovery and purpose are not something unfamiliar to the securely attached self-agent. Whether you're a mystic, spiritual, or mindfully living, loving person, it's because you're using two sides of the brain. So you do know, as I have shared with you my lovely recent stream of consciousness, that I'm translating from Italian to English, so it doesn't give it the same because it's not only hidden coves or street corners, but it's little crevices that you go and put yourself in. So the translation, I had to use what was closest to how I was going to read it to you, but the silent footsteps in hidden places. So as you're walking the street, because we were walking, and this is a beautiful event that I got to participate. It's a mindfulness type event, and it's in the Bagnoli, Naples, Italy area. So if you're ever in Italy, look up Tabula Rasa and the voice of places. So the event is La Voce, voice, dei luoghi, of places. And so in that, when we're walking, right? Anybody love to do walks? I love the moon, the stars. Okay, so the silent footsteps of those who walk in the dark. The silent footsteps of those who have repeatedly come in search of something that they can't find or have lost. Like the Billy Joel song, anyone remember it? I've been searching through the night. I lost that something special that, let me find the notes, because it's a really great song, and there are plenty of those who could use Patrick Tiahan, but they don't want to. And so when I see basically a good piece of content, I need to spotlight it. Why your CPTSD isn't getting better. So if you truly create what you care for and you get two opportunities, that's better than one. Thank you, Sadhguru. But if you have disturbances in self-organization, which is the difference between standard PTSD and CPTSD, then you'll have relationship attachment wounding. We also have the inability to regulate emotions, affect, your window of tolerance to window welcome, and then there's no ownership of the sense of self. And when I see people on a screen just venting instead of going to therapy, and what is their vent? So their actual vent is, please, mothers, don't send your children to therapy because you're not going to help them. Or parents, how about you kick your kids out of the house and allow them to go into the difficult world? So this is where when anyone gets upset, anybody hear Mean Girls, the movie? Yeah, so whenever I'm looking at poetry or movies or any of it, I'm wondering, is it a fearful one or a lover one? I'll know which one it is because of the way that they are performing. And that's because if their heart is in it, it will expand me, like when you are in a flow state. If their gut is in it, it will not expand me. I will be, though, listening like at an opera, as composed as can be, since that's the decorum. Will I have the best time of my life? No, but I will have a good time because I appreciate the miracle of life. Thank you, God. And FYI, I'm a pro-choice woman who is in favor of free will because God is only one and no person in flesh is it. And when I meet pseudo-intellectuals, it makes me think of spiritual bypassers and pseudo-spiritual people. And I'm pseudoscience because I know real sciences, and I appreciate them for proving that my brothers and sisters can have heaven in the body because they can all be securely attached, own their sense of self, become an integrated brain, move into the restorative embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating state, and then become, like me, a ventral energy, and they can always be happy. That's why Sadhguru, what was it, his quote today? Actually, wait, let's find out. And he also shares, if only you can go through difficult times with inner grace, you will see that every situation we face is an opportunity to enhance our lives. That's why the inner growth mindset, it only works with those who know mindset and lifestyle. It's everything. So you're the one who says, yes, I can work with my neuroplasticity. And that's because we are learning from the smart ones that they're still learning how integration can continue to take place. And so the experts don't pathologize or close anyone into a box. And if you want to know, here Sadhguru, whether you are moving forward in life, just see if you are a little more joyful today than you were yesterday. Thank you, Sadhguru. And one more quote. Going beyond your limitations is far more important than staying within the limitations of what you like. But as I was saying, we have 3D, 4D brothers and sisters. They don't like what they're creating. So they've gotten 2 opportunities, 3 opportunities. They're growing more and more bitter and upset. And then they go and vent on screen and or share. So when you meet the teenager, that's the moment of truth where you're going to hear very dramatic, emotionally immature expressions. And they're going to not like those of us in ventral energy, because our nervous system actually consistently reminds theirs of what is possible, but they will think that modern day therapists want to imprison them, and that inherently being non-reactive is not healthy or enlightening, that it is dangerous, the words they choose, to have no emotions, and then they don't understand how the window of affect works, window tolerance. I get fucked up with my words, but I know what my body does, and it could be the alleles. But I know a man called Dr. Daniel Siegel and more, and I know from the smart ones that there are 97% of unavailable, invisible for all scientists. So they only know 3% of information, which makes the scientific methodology able to say, yes, flat earthers, we understand you have an equation. Neil deGrasse, I haven't watched your video yet. I really do, because I'm going to watch it and then I think, I wonder if they are finding how to contest it. I need to go look at that other team just to see. But really, it's only one team. Human beings evolve and expand with the intelligent mind and not with the ones who are brilliant, since the brilliant is a destructive mind that forgets they're part of an ecosystem, because the adoptive child is self-preserving and they get very rigid and or chaotic when they don't get what they want. So when you see someone saying kick out your kids and don't send them to therapy, because then they'll come to you and say that therapists are better and stuff like that, you just know that it's been a really tough day and that people don't know the good therapist. If they did, they would know that they don't tell anybody what to do. You don't kick out, not kick out. We understand different culture. There's, in fact, people who, because mindfulness people will think, you're making my kid a Buddhist. No, we're just helping with integration of brain. So they make secular mindfulness. So the grown up human beings, they're not charged. They like to share information. And when we meet the ones who don't know how to be themselves, we are able to regulate and smile. And that's why when someone says, well, why would you apologize if you're not wrong? Well, because I care about all my loved ones. Immunities isn't enough to be saluted. And in this case, I said, look, it's not about decency. And I hadn't spoken for 3 consistent years. And I continued that because that's what is an unhealthy self-worth human being man who is a funny story. He gave me a funny story. And so when I got to meet up with a friend of mine who I did say hello to, because that's what you do with friends in Italy, in his case, no, because consistently for 3 and ongoing years, I will have given him what my men friends made me very clear I needed to do, which was the bitch cold shoulder, so that I would not give mixed messages. I have learned that feeding a man French fries makes his friends think that I want him, which I didn't. And that was a very great 4-year relationship. We're friends now. But the minute he told me this, I was like, no, I had no interest in you whatsoever. I mean, I was having a good time. We have had a good time. So, I mean, we can date. I'm not really looking for a relationship right now, but we ended up getting into one. And 4 years down the line, he says, I thought you would change, as he's breaking up with me. I said, what? This is confusing right now. And I'll never forget how he gave me this example. It's as if you want, and I love him. I love him to death. Please let you all know I'm friends with all my exes. Even the ones who don't want to be friends. And I don't like the whole word ex. So when people are like, oh, I'd say, look, you use your words the way you want. I'm using my words. And that's because I don't say I love you and take it back. That's ridiculous. I'm polyamory. Don't you know what whores do? Anyone? I mean, really. I like to play with words because I cannot even begin to tell you how humored I am when I see, yeah, you're not poly enough. And then I'm like, what? I didn't cheat. And that, I'm a 45-year-old woman. I'm just going to let y'all know it's hilarious to watch human beings be idiots. No, I'm not laughing because they're idiots. They will look up to those who are not to be looked up to. I just recently saw this. So see, I'm getting something off my chest, which is there's 20-year-olds who tell me that I am actually not what's the word? Oh, how do I bring this one? Basically, they don't understand when you explain to them how the embodied brain works. But it's like somebody saying, no, no, Maria, I've seen demonic possession being taken care of in church. So neuroscience, everyone has something to believe in. I'm like, look, I'm the pseudoscience woo lady because I know what data is. Obviously, you have no idea what data is. And I'm the spiritual one who I believe in you, God, but I do know of dark matter, dark energy. There's no need for any of spiritual human being to prove our intuitiveness or anything about God. God has it all taken care of because God is one, divine source. I mean, again, does not anybody know logic or how to be genuine? I'm a perfectionist. I'm sorry. I'm a one. The Enneagram. I am actively thriving right now. I humbly share with you my wisdom. Is it wisdom? I do accept others just the way they are. So when someone says neuroscience, I say, what? Nothing. Because I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. I don't want to because I got an adaptive child in the room. Thanks, Terry Rios. So it's not a losing strategy. And as Sadhguru points out, not we, Sadhguru. It's only the destructive mode people who are in half a brain who think they're brilliant. And really, it's amazing to meet them on screen. I'm going to be making fun of another one. It's a she this time. So I got a couple of she pseudo-intellectuals, a couple of, mean girl, whatever you want to call them, looking to not ever get fucked with again. And I just think, I know I was a little dramatic as a teenager, but wow, you're really exaggerating. And the one that said no emotions gave me a flashback to when my girlfriends were like, why are you being so mean? You're taking their side. And I'm like, I'm not being mean. Everyone deserves love. And you're really sounding really not nice right now. And you're just really upset. And I said, yes, Jesus, I love you. Yes, God, and yes, Holy Spirit. And you're making me uncomfortable because it's almost as if you're pushing me to disregard the promise that I made to Jesus, God, and Holy Spirit. You don't have to keep it, but you're involving me in an interaction, and you're also really talking crap about human beings. Did you walk in their shoes by any chance? Because I'm pretty sure you don't know what they've been through. You have no idea. So could you please disengage from using the word evil? Because really, if you're gonna, then there's Michael Stone. He has a forensic criminologist scale. Because, I found out from a journalist what happens to some children in their homes. They get sold. I'm not going to go any further. I'm just going to let you all know that I am a person who doesn't want children, and I'm pro-choice. But when I hear stuff like this, and then I hear a woman and a man on screen thinking they know what love is, and I think, wow, you're putting gender roles into the mix. I see. You think that it's actually the vagina or the dick that makes the parent. And you obviously don't know what psychology or evolutionary biology. You obviously have closed yourself off to information. It'll be very clear to those of us who care about children and humanity when you hear gender stereotypes to the bejesus of you, and then you hear them say, I guess some people don't like the facts. You don't like to hear that you can't work the way you would want to work. That you don't socialize your kid when you send them to daycare. And I'm just thinking, wow, really, you've created a whole bunch of data points. I know where you're wielding. I know how you sound. You sound good, but you're forgetting kids get sold by poor families. So you're forgetting a lot of things in your closed little self-preserving idea of illusion where your agenda is only one because you didn't look at the big picture. You're not thoroughly continuing to be a part of your community to help the children. You decided you know everything now. The minute somebody says to you they know everything and they want to claim that they're the facts, there's a red flag right there. The ones who want to hear it, those are the same people who bring those people to me, by the way, and or just bring it up in the same way. So again, nobody walks in the footsteps of anyone, and anyone who would be actually intelligent will have compassion for that reason. Anybody who's self-preserving will have stuff that they can look at if they want, and they don't have to. Again, the silent footsteps of those who walk in the dark have repeatedly come in search of something they can't find or have lost. Have no voice but want to speak. Have something to hide or protect. Don't want to be seen because they are afraid or ashamed. Want a safe place to be alone, to be with themselves and reflect. Want a hidden cove, street corner, little crevice somewhere, all to themselves to contemplate life and all that there is. And so the silent footsteps in hidden cove, street corners, every person will have safety for sure when they are securely attached, healthy self-worth person with their own self. So you are going to get to move forward in life with pseudoscience and pseudo-intellectuals. I'm a pseudoscience. I'm not a pseudo intellectual, but the pseudo science lady is because I respect the sciences. The pseudo intellectuals, these people are scientists. They're evolutionary biologists, the two that I recently came across, and they actually give you not only family gender stereotypes of traditional yesterday's news, but they also do a lot more than just that, which is not mingle and tingle with their colleagues. So the minute that somebody is giving me I have the facts that people don't like, you sound like a little teenager to me who thinks you know everything. In the meantime, I'm noticing that, like the flat earthers, you have decided to isolate yourself, which is a red flag. Isolation. Was your faith in humanity broken somewhere? Wait, if I wait long enough, you're going to let me know what that faith that was broken is, because you're full of charges. The minute that you begin to spill the beans, as you're not trauma dumping, because really that's not a word I would use, you're more sharing what it is that you hold within you. But the thing is, you're stalling your actual capacity to get out of your gut and into your heart and then into your prefrontal. So I got a brainstem. Hey, what's up, half-brainers? You having a good time? Oh, I love watching you on screen. And they're not playing the algorithm. No, they're give the people what they want. Schopenhauer talks about, if you want to reach a large audience, you appeal to the masses. Every time I think of the gladiator. So a smart human being will notice what it means to thrive, because we will have heard through the grapevine that luckily for us, our brothers and sisters, they're all saved. They can have heaven in the body if they choose to take their self seriously. They don't have to, though. They can follow the assholes on screen who are very brilliantly using their mouths. And now that I've been able to spot them and to be able to make logical conversations, I'm looking forward more to our community, because I really love being able to share with you all how to work from your heart and your mind. And that's especially for the younger generation. And then the ones who want to follow and put on pedestals, the pseudo-intellectuals, it's not like it's never happened before. And again, it's not because I look fondly to ignorance. No, I don't. But I see, as they feel that by sharing with the entire world what their low frequency, because there's two types of songs that you're going to get to hear out there. There's love, and then there's fear. And if you are one who wants visceral shit, well, there's drama king and queens who don't actually think of the fact of what success, by the way, looks like. So if you want to know whether you are moving forward in life, just see if you are a little more joyful today than you were yesterday. And also, going beyond your limitations is far more important than staying within the limitations of what you like. And I shared with you all, like, my panic attacks. I was getting to talk to a lovely person who has the same stuff, IBS, panic attacks. And as we laughed together at how we both were thinking the same thing when we got to the event, because they did this thing. They surprise, so any one of you who has had panic attacks, or if you have IBS, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But he's the first human being who, as I'm talking about how I felt and what I was thinking, they're like, oh yeah. It's very nice, because we also both understand when people try to tell us it's all in your mind, and we understand that. Doesn't matter. So to this day, my entire life has been rearranged, because this is the part of where, as we talked about, if it's somebody that I know, the minute I say, look, I need to go, they will get up and leave. Awesome. Because I'll be able to know that if it happens, that I'll be able to. But the minute we have a person who is actually thinking anything, it doesn't matter, they're judging it. Okay, so they're making a idea out of why it's whatever, it doesn't matter. That is the minute my nervous system will pick it up, because when you're talking to yourself, you are automatically, by the way, an embodied brain. So I don't need to read your mind. My body's perceiving that you're not just, what is the word that I'm looking for? Just basically neutral. When I'm with people who are neutral, and that does happen, one of the people I'm thinking about particularly, I can feel it, because even though I'm agitated, because they're neutral, my body perceives that they're not judging what I am experiencing. And so my body gets to rest, also my mind gets to rest because I know that I'm not imposing any kind of disturbance upon another human being, because that's actually what their nervous system is saying. I have space for you and for this, and I'm neutral about it, which is a safe haven, secure base. So my nervous system will automatically recalibrate because I'm with one that is not agitated or activated or thinking. So again, this is where we're an embodied brain. That's why it's very humorous to see those who don't continue getting educated, and they think that a mother can soothe their child. No, a mother who's dysregulated is not soothing their child. They're actively simply teaching that child how to be dysregulated, which is why it's not going to be out of the home or in the home. And actually, if they're out of the home, maybe they'll get lucky with those who know how to be in their ventral vagal state, and will be the only caregivers that they will ever be able to be exposed to, and then they'll have to go to the home of horrors and the evening and be in a dysregulated nervous system. So the part about when people are creating what they think is what a home should, coulda, woulda look like, they're forgetting that we're embodied brains. In fact, the same individual doesn't know what T1, T2 with the Stephen Porges edition is, because otherwise they would have known it's not the T1 or T2. Basically, the first part is, how is your embodied brain responding, and then we can look at the external other factors. But the reality is that you have already from the womb began to self-organize. And so, long story short though, a lot of information that is not necessarily something that might make sense to you all, but I'm attachment trauma informed, and when I see idiots on screen I can't help but review some of what I heard and then just think, wow. And then when I see the other ones, I mean, again, it's very straightforward. When somebody is looking for something that they lost, something sacred that they lost, something taken out of my soul, Billy Joel, the song, The River of Dreams, something I'd never lose, something somebody stole, the Valley of Fear, tired of walking, Jungle of Doubt, here's where off to see the promised land, trying to get there. The Desert of Truth, land in the ocean, which, so the river ends up in the ocean. And so we all end up in the same place. But the difference is, some of us are actually going to be able to share what is the miracle of life from the self of you. And that's why self-discovery and purpose, use your name. It's easy as a self-agent, an open-hearted, vulnerable person, and mystic or spiritual or mindful. You don't think of those who have not resolved what is theirs as something that is for you to take care of. No, the pseudo-intellectuals, like the other types of pseudoscience people who are giving you dogma, they're there for the others who will follow them. The voices of people who are just venting about shit. Again, they get now a whole bunch of people to do that with. I'm not here to vent. I'm here to talk and then to have fun and laugh. And as for, it's not really frustrated with people, although I can say that I consistently am expanding as I master the physical plane. I'm an Akashic record reader, the mental, physical, the mental, emotion, physical plane. So I get to become more and more resilient in my restorative embodiment. And that's why I get to tell you all about how eustress works, and how the higher enlightening frequency right here, and how fun it is to be able to spot that my gut will pick up on somebody's gut and the brain stem. And now I'm able to even, I had a hypnotherapy session, LBLT, and I'm pretty sure that the one who was standing over here, because I had two groups of lovely counsel over here, we all the religious figures, Jesus was there, Buddha was there, and more names that I don't remember. Over here I had an octopus who said blah, 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 and I'm like, okay, I'm thinking it's about the water. And then I had this rock which was a mix of rock and stone. Ogre is the word that's coming to my mind. And he just said, you could talk and do a little bit more on earth stuff. I'm like, okay, but Sadhguru's taking care of that, but I'll remember. And my own future, it's either my own future self, or definitely they're the ones that I come from. And they were a pair. So, but I'm pretty sure the more I sit with it, I'm like, yeah, that looks like it would be me. Because she was standing the entire time in front of everyone. In the meantime, I also had a Franciscan who consistently is with me, and I'm wondering, is it San Francis or who is it? I'm curious about that one. Because I know who my guardian angel is, and I know about the fairies and the angels. But this Franciscan was just like quiet the whole time. He's like right there, quiet, and I'm like, wow, you're just following me around, like from Earth to. So, anyways, this is fun. That's why I'm not deluded by my imagination. And no, you don't have to believe in mysticism and any of our Akashic record reading stuff, but it's really great to be able to share with our 5D mystic community at IHP. Once we get our tiers, our workshops, we'll have a good time, because it's very different than when we are actually making it sound like we are the only prophets or gurus or yogis, or the only well, one, not everybody believes in that which is spirit in the sky, so again, plus also really what I enjoy letting you all know is that spirituality, it's something we honor, and our ancestors, and while the ones who are really grumpy, old, and they keep talking about Lucifer, they're going to miss out a lot on those of us who have divinity and source and Akash and God and Anima Mundi all in one. But also seeing a shaman tell people on screen, like a tarot reader, don't go to therapy, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not nice. And people saying mindfulness is bad for you. You must not have all the information. It's not bad for you. It's that if you have trauma charges that are stored, which we all do, in your bones, muscles, and tissues, well, we got some stuff going on. So we want the thoroughly informed, not only researchers and analysts and people who are doing actively with their colleagues therapy, not the ones who set up their own schools. No, those are the ones who are very much isolating themselves, and they have dogma, and you can tell. So I like Bethany Brand and Ruth Lanius, for example. They work as a team. They've created a bunch of courses, Janina Fisher, Dr. Daniel Siegel, so they all come together. They don't like yell at each other or insult each other or think that the modern day way that we're deciding to work or not work is working. So these men and women who complain about society and the way it is, they're the same ones who will point at a polyamory woman and say it's because of you that we have cheating men. Polyamory is consensual non-monogamy, one. Cheating men and women, and in cheat, are people who I will say are very close-minded. Apparently they don't really love each other, and that's one, because they're not going to tear real. Two, they could be open-minded enough to understand what the hell is going on, like why did you marry in the first place, like where did it come from. So there's a bunch of different things, but above all, if you actually love each other, then you're going to know compersion. My teenage boyfriend, he cheated on me 3 times, and then the 4th time he didn't admit it, and I said you could admit it, and he didn't, and I did know the truth, and I wasn't gonna shame him about it. There's nothing to shame, because that's the part. I don't need to use shame or guilt, because I'm not working with, because I don't need to. You're not a child. I can talk to you. I also don't need to use a shaming or guilting tone. Anybody want to get out of the medieval times? Because seriously, whenever I hear anybody say that shame is not, yes, to be able and share with you right or wrong in that sense, okay, if that's how you're using shame, guilt, you're going to feel it if you have the capacity to have a society that walks a walk and talks a talk. It doesn't matter what I have, if it's a mother, father, mother, mother, father, father, or nothing at all. If I have a society that is an integrated brain, restored, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating, a person who knows why your CPTSD isn't getting better, not somebody who isolates themselves, opens up their schools, publishes a bunch of books and thinks they know everything. That's the first sign that I got what is really a small ego in town, because you just made it sound like you know everything versus you don't. So when you meet ego that's small, they sound like they know it all, which is why their dogma and their brilliance is going to be not brilliance to somebody like me. It also won't be irritating though, because again, I see 20-year-olds who look up to pseudo intellectuals and they actually make justification, then they continue to put them on a pedestal as I'm explaining what an integrated brain is and how they're not it and how your inner well-being is integration, and they're continuing based on denying that they have some shit going on that needs a therapist, because it does. At that point, if you don't know how to wake up every day and get more joyful, go to therapy, and not a bad one, a good one. The good ones, EMDR, child parts work, somatic, sensory motor. The good ones don't give you gender stereotypes. The good ones don't make you into a pathology. The good ones talk to you about the importance of everything, and the good of anyone's give you options. If you need to be treated like a little soldier, then you don't want options, because that's exactly what happened, which means you got fear-mongered. So people who want rigidity and are stuck with rigidity are the same ones who might go chaotic. And those are the people who aren't going to be, they're not at IHP. They, in fact, don't know that self-discovery is about owning all your child parts and being in your prefrontal. Number one, I don't know how it's to be and what is. I don't have a disturbed, self-organized Maria. Myself is right here. I found me. You can't spank me. I'm a differentiated self. Okay, so when you own the sense of self, that's why Patrick Tiahan is out there for those who need him. And Terry Rio, I don't need him because I'll be like, hey, excuse me, word change. What? You must have me mistaken for somebody. I know exactly what I stand for. My purpose, yes, I'm going to help people to live a good life. Why do they need me? They don't. I'm a bonus. And the ones who actually think that people need them, well, let me leave that one alone, because open-hearted, vulnerable people don't need each other. We talk to each other. Because like in the My Cousin Vinny skit at the end, when she's like, okay, come on, dude, because he's making a big deal because he wanted to win the case all by himself. And that's a small ego. And she's like, oh, so, now a case after case, you have to say thank you. And they're really funny. And it's not about man or woman. But if we want to equate it that way, again, nobody's taken away meaning from anyone. Men are getting the opportunity, as women, I'll just put, as everyone, to own their sense of self. That the neuroscience shows there's a different way to bring, yes, all of this. But again, if you meet true intellectuals, true sciences, they don't close anything up and keep them stuck in ancient news history because they are visionaries, and that means they have their adolescent essence alive. So their social engagement, their essential spark, their novelty, their creative expression, and there's a person who is an embodied brain that grows old and fun because their 3-year-old is whole. Thanks, Dr. Daniel Siegel. So again, when you are able to know that finding yourself is through this lovely push and pull between ancient wisdom and traditions, alongside the old and new scientific findings, this is what's going to expand you. And that's what our collective, and that's why you're a self-agent. So you're also not challenged or afraid to lose anything. Your image is not in words. Your personality pattern, it expands your temperament. So you don't change if you have a sense of self that is owned by you. If you build a safe, haven, secure-based relationship with you, and then you know how to work with anger, sadness, fear, surprise, disgust, and happiness with you. You love yourself first. That's why you can share your solo self with others. There's your true spirituality, people. So the ones who manifest with trauma charges will know who they are because they're actually bountiful, and they're going to continue to get together, and that's going to be great for them, and we're going to leave them alone. They can hang out. We're going to all hang out. They're just not going to want to hang out with us because they think that we are all awful. I mean, really. I don't even know how to explain it, but they just don't think that they're missing out on those of us who are different, quote unquote. So, again, different. We're all different, but some of us actually appreciate as we move into the future that technology, science will save us from, any asteroid. Please don't hit us, dark matter, dark energy. And so as our intellectuals update over time and science's teams build data through research and analysis, we learn every day more about new findings and knowledge that dispel ancient teachings upheld as dogmas by pseudo-intellectuals at this moment in time, or ancient science, which is missing some pieces up, okay? So it's not only ancient teachings in a spiritual sense, it's just anything that is an ancient thing that is used as a dogma. So this is the only boxed up truth, and anybody who needs to hear that, again, they're not able to use an integrated brain because they get rigid, upset, and they don't know how to understand what academia is and what science is and how research is done, and they don't want it. They don't have to want it. But they can know that being grounded in reality means, any of your cherishable beliefs are falsifiable. And if you know sciences, they know 97% of what is out there is unavailable for them to be observed. So they know they're going to consistently continue to do research. That's it. Flat earthers are trying to disprove that the earth is round. Neil deGrasse made a recent video, and I'm pretty sure because everybody can make sense of themselves, especially these pseudo-intellectuals who already have their own dogma that they're living by, you're going to see them try to prove it. And that's the blindness. And so cognitive dissonance and structural dissociation. Cognitive dissonance is you refusing to notice where you're going. I mean, I don't actually use the explanation of it. There was a I had an image that would show the definition, so you can look it up. But in the meantime, as I wrap it up, the pseudo-intellectuals are not grounded in reality. So they believe their cherishable beliefs and hypotheses are the sole truth of humanity and existence, and that's of everything. And you just hear them talk. And they have closed themselves off from not only continuous learning, but also building of knowledge with their colleagues, by the way, and having comparison. That's another sign. And expanding consciousness and humanity's potential, because they're fixed in a moment in time. And they're being very stingy with everything. And, you know, again, they will have a following. Peter Pan has lost boys. Who does Peter Pan follow? Wendy. Who's Wendy? Another child. Who's pseudo-alive? All the ones from yesterday's news. Who's pseudo-intellectual or pseudo-spiritual or pseudo, I can use it all day long. Again, I'm pseudoscience because I know how sciences works. So as a logical and genuinely interested person in knowledge, I know how data is built, which is why I don't make a big deal out of qualitative or quantitative. Because if I want to go and find, I'll go to Neil deGrasse, number one, and figure it out. Or somebody who is in a specific group of academic researchers. And I will not be going to the people who are setting up their own schools, because I already know what they're doing. I hear them all day long. And they're actually the buffoons, because their heart is not open. Their gut is working, which means their brainstem is on, which is the indication that their nervous system is like this. Plus, they say a lot of shit from their mouth of all of their colleagues and people that actually... I love you, Dr. Daniel Siegel and Dr. Daniel Fox and Bessel van der Kolk. I love you all, men. I love you all, women. There's plenty of women, too. I'm just pointing. Janina Fisher, there you go. Here, Pat Ogden, come on in. Ruth, Bethany, I love you both. There's plenty more Ruths, okay? So, I don't remember all my teachers' names. Sue Martin, man, I love you. Dr. Albert Wong, I miss my lovely Keep from Somatopia. Maybe I'll be able to take that other course one day, but those are amazing people. Peter Levine, love you, man. Peter Levine, he's amazing. Kylie, you might never watch my videos, but I love you. You're healing. It's great. She's a narcissist. She's healing, and she's already in remission from borderline personality. She's doing something strong. And I look forward to seeing how many people she will show that they can do it too, and then that they can authentically become all that they were meant to be. And, you know, it's sad to see pseudo-intellectuals use this. You know, here's the data, here's the findings. As you can see, the spectrum shows they don't change. But my colleagues, they're all against me. Wow, mean girls, they're all against you. Oh, so whenever you see someone doing some shit like that, it's like, okay, really? What's up with my colleagues are all against me? Is this a competition? Are you in the spelling bee of the 5th grade, 3rd grade? Or really, never mind, I'm so sorry. I'm a perfectionist, so, you know, I don't know, what am I talking about? So I don't get resentful or stingy like that, because it's an energy that I'm like, I'm sorry, God. That's how it works. So you know what it feels to feel guilty and ashamed, the feeling very low frequency energy, because, you know, my brothers and sisters, they're all the same. So God, I told you, remember, I don't agree with the Cain and Abel thing. You could have had them both be happy. That's what I told God. I learned about Cain and Abel in my communion. And I also learned about something else. I said, you better not come to me with any of that business, because I ain't going to do it. I ain't hurting a living being. You'll hear all about it in my chapter, God is Discerning Quantum Love. And there's more amazing chapters. The book is The Ways to God, again, June 28th. So with that being said, again, when you know love, you know love. And I said, yes, Jesus, I will forgive. I do know that I will not cast any more stones. That's why I'm in favor of anarchy. And I trust my human species, because I'm human too. And that's because I trust you. And that's because I believe in you. And that's because I believe I can fly. I believe that every person can believe to the depths of their being in themselves, nourish their talents, free their spirit. There's more Bruce B. Wilmer. And so again, the pseudo-intellectuals, they disregard the truth behind humanity's evolutionary biological nature as part of the animal kingdom with an embodied brain. That's the ventral vagal state with the sympathetic dorsal vagal. Okay, so when I'm in my ventral vagal state, that's my social engagement system, and that's what you always have on and work to have on with mindfulness practices, thanks to mindsight skills and the inner growth mindset, at least with me at IHP. That's resiliency and restorative embodiment. If, on the other hand, you're a modulated embodiment and dysregulated, we got a sympathetic dorsal vagal going on. We got a fight-flight stuff. So there's that, okay? So, and the men who think and the women that are pseudo-intellectuals that they're doing great and thriving, I don't know about that, but I'm going to leave it alone. So anyways, they deny this thriving in connection, meaning that a person wants to become securely attached with themselves, and that is the first step. As for everything else, it is extra. As Stephen Porges says, it's not the story, it's not the words, it's what is this doing? How are you on the spectrum of, can you sit with somebody and be comfortable in ventral vagal state, in ventral energy? And that's the moment of truth. When somebody is waiting for the next shoe to drop, or they're wanting a hissy fit fight and they're coming in and out, that's why we all know what insecurities are. The securely attached self-led person, which is why cold shoulder or a silent treatment or any of that, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, they don't love me anymore. Why would it be personal? I'm sure some shit's going down because, I mean, really, you know how to speak to me, so I'm not going to be thinking you're doing something on purpose. I mean, why would you do... That doesn't make sense. Yeah, so that's how a self-agent can tell you. It's never made sense that somebody's doing it on purpose to piss me off or to spite me. And I just think, why would you think that of your friends or of anybody you'd be with? Like, doesn't make sense to me. I know self-agents, we're awesome. We have a good time. We don't spiral in our brains because why would I use my time to think about anything in that way? That's my time. I get to be with Maria and God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. And I get to be safe inside myself. Yeah, so that's exactly, why would I use my brain to think about anything negative? So God already knew all this stuff, by the way. Again, the pseudo-intellectuals, they disregard this truth about the embodied brain, and Stephen Porges is still proving his theory. So they will say it's not proven yet. And you say, okay. And in the meantime, though, thanks to Stephen Porges and all of those who are Bessel van der Kolk, Pat Ogden, working with the embodied brain, somatic therapists, the expert ones, we know that our bodies thrive in connection. So secure, attached, safe haven, secure base with other people. We expand with love. And then the ones who choose to survive in protection and contract with fear, they get and vent on screen about their misery, and then their body has complete distress, and we don't. But we are not going to go pointing fingers because they don't like our ventral energy. So here's a tip. When you're listening to podcasts or speakers, and even when you listen here, I try my best to remember to remind you, I fuck it up, woo, pseudoscience lady. I'm here for the ones who want self-help, personal development, and I'm sharing with you points of views and stories. This is not lecture time, and I will forget things, and I'll forget to, tell you all the names and everything, all of it. I'm not planning on making it perfect, but I have realized how it's best to speak these words because people, even when you speak them, if you got a distorted self like my facade friend, he twisted shit, and I found out later on that he still doesn't know why I did not speak to him for 5 years. He still is convinced that his subjective experience and idea is truer than what I tell him about Maria and why I didn't speak to him for 5 years. And that is why I don't do anything with anybody that shows me that they're Cusco, because you will have distorted it once, twice. By the third time, you are a pattern on a wheelhouse who is pseudo everything, and I won't be bothering to try and tell you my subjective experience. I'm a differentiated self. Because what you also find out is some people are really, really motivated by bonding. So when you try to say that you are not what they're saying, they just think you're trying to isolate them. So it's really sad. Emotionally immature people, they will not be becoming mature, as we talked about that one. So again, when you listen to podcast speakers, when it sounds like dogma, take the golden nuggets and look for the intellectuals and the scientists and the 5D spiritual, or just the ones of us who are welcoming of all. We know God is love, okay? The ones of us who explain, we explore, we talk to you with old, new, and unknown, and curiosity and openness, and we say, wow, we don't know everything yet. Who wants more? And I will say, yes, yes. So curious, open, accepting, and loving. That's why we talk about, we know some things, not all things. And so genuine intellectuals, also that. They will be curiously exploring their topics and not telling you that, people, they don't like the facts. Excuse me? Yeah, you know what a rebel is. Really? So whenever you see someone who's trying to make it sound like whatever it is like a big deal. I mean, yeah, sure, it can be a big deal. You don't know Sam Harris. Again, cherishable beliefs could be falsifiable. I'm hearing your golden nuggets. They're amazing. So when people are excited about what they're sharing, they are excited because they know that they're helping more people. And this is the part. When I found out that spirituality people are not needed, this is how it went down. So the scientists know how heaven and the God is made, restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating. They're all doing a really awesome job. Stephen Porges is still doing the research. So, wow, we don't need, hey God, they don't need us anymore. There's no Lucifer, no monster. They can be out in the desert hanging out to dry. No, they don't have to stay in the desert. They can go to the bridge. They don't have to follow any fake idols anymore. I mean, they can pray if they believe in God, because, even if they prove the dark matter thing and the dark energy and the Big Bang, it's not like we're going to stop having faith, God. Don't worry. I still believe in God. I'm a faith and spirit, just because I don't sound like a preacher who's closed-minded, by the way. Okay, so when you hear somebody who is and that's the rigidity, they're actually very, very unfun to be around. So when you know what heart is, and I said, wow, oh, and then I said, that's really awesome. And now I can have a complete fun time. I was already doing fun anyways, but now I know that all of my brothers and sisters can choose, thanks to therapists, about their waking up in the morning and being happy in life. And then they can choose also not to. And they actually can vent and think therapy are a waste of time. And it's like, no, not really. But you don't want the bad ones. So, again, looking forward to being back with you. Thanks for stopping by. Be you, be mindful, have integrity. Remember, we don't walk in anybody's shoes. And all the good therapists are out there helping anybody who wants to be a person who can have integration, restorative. And the ones who don't want it, it's okay. We're all going to hang out, vote, laws, and keep each other physically safe and continue to mingle and tingle. And I know already that everything's going to be fine, by the way, because that's how it works. The ones who don't know, they must not know who God is, or intelligence, or consciousness, or who smart scientists are. Luckily, the scientists who are smart, they like to do what they're doing. So they're going to continue to be with their colleagues and do research. Doesn't matter where they're going to have to do it. They're going to do it because that's exactly why, filling the gap. Anyone who thinks academia is dead doesn't know why we have academia. So again, I don't like to say it, but smart, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. We know why school is important. And here's something that I have from my college years. Dare to dream, follow your heart. Opportunities calling. Now is the time to start. Yep. And believe in yourself. Bruce B. Wilmer. And here's where we have forever growing, the tree of knowledge. So you continue to learn. And only an idiot doesn't want to continue to learn amazing stuff. And love. So all you need is love. Yes. And wait. Let me share with you our lovely Jesus. And here's someone that I want to honor. This is a lovely friend of mine, gave it to me. I love the son. I won't share all the stuff, but he's a friend who told me, he said, Maria, at one point I will not be around anymore because I don't want to. And I said, well, I will miss you. And there you go. And I don't know what happened to my friend, but I know he's happy. That's why he told me what he told me, because he knew what he wanted in life. And to this day, I'm like, but come on, man, come back. But again, everybody has their own decisions to make. So in the meantime, let's, the song, make a world a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are children and people dying. If you care enough for the living, make it a better place for you and for me. And it is a globe. Some people don't recognize it. So self-discovery, check, because you have your sense of self and you have your affect and emotions, and you have your relationships. So secure, attached people, or you're getting there. Awesome. We're all in favor and supporting you with the really support. Again, maladaptive patterns, that's actually completely normal. That's why I mentioned why your CPTSD isn't getting better. Patrick Tan is a really good video for anybody who might be struggling with stuff that is open to doing it. The ones who tell you not to go to therapy, they don't like therapists. I mean, the most I've been able to say is, look, there's good ones. Please don't say no to any of them. There's good ones, but it's really hard once you've had one bad experience, two bad. So, you do what you can. But our purpose, it's easy. Use your human name. That's your motivator when you are a securely attached 0-1-year-old, 3 to 7-year-old, and that is a self-agent, open-hearted, vulnerable person. You know what I'm going to go do? I have 24 hours today. I might die while I'm sleeping. I don't want to, but you never know, and God told me I won't. But my point is 24 hours. I wake up, Mom, Yay, yay, we have one more day together. Yay, yay. Please don't hit us, asteroid, please. And then my other loved ones who I don't get the honor to be always together. And we're going to get to that one. But yes, so we like to be alive and we like to share life. And that is the part. It doesn't ever get old, because we do grow old and crippled, or whatever the word is. Not crippled necessarily. What I meant was wrinkled, but that word came out, and some people do end up crippled. And I'm so sorry. I know all about chronic pain. I've taken a couple of courses. They've told me of how we can support people, but that the people need to choose to want to be supported. And then sometimes they choose no, and then they become physically dangerous to their significant other. And then you get told, by people, this is social time now, I don't want to tell anyone. I say, no, please. I understand, I honor your role, I honor what you are choosing, but please tell one human being, because what you just described to me makes me very worried, and I have no potential to help you at all. I'm 4'9", I have no car, I have no money for you. So can you please, also I don't even know where they live, stuff like that, which I wasn't about to ask. But my point is that, people can be supported, but the people who are in the need, the suffering, that's why I mentioned the My Cousin Vinny thing, is the people who are not asking. And that's also a red flag of childhood trauma, where I don't ask for help where I need it because I don't trust that I will be safe. So again, it takes the person, like I told somebody, Jesus did leave us the key. You choose to open your heart, not the other way around. And trust is something that is very scary for those who have consistently, since they're 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not had a regulated nervous system. It's not about a mom, it's not about a dad, they did not have a safe haven, secure base at home. So it's very uncomfortable to find the ventral energy again and again and again, because you're going to continue to say, you ain't real, you're fake, you're a pretendo, you're not real. And as Peter Levine says, it's a bird with a broken wing who will choose to go into the cave and get that cat, because that's a person who doesn't believe in love, which is heartbreaking. And then you get to watch them, actually 20-year-olds, looking up to pseudo-intellectuals and putting them on a pedestal, which is why, again, I'm not joking. So I know 3D, 4D ain't going anywhere, but you better bet they ain't going to be here, because I am not in favor of any type of suffering. No suffering here. Nope. We're not fake positive either. I have explanations for you. So the people don't want to do, I want it. Bye. Go to the Zen master. Have a good time. We do mindfulness and mindsight here and meditation and everything, and we know it all. That's all good. So see you again soon enough.